Now, I'm usually always very excited to use my platform that we've built on YouTube to come on here and talk about my hometown team and my favorite team in the NBA, the Detroit Pistons. But today it just feels a little bit better, and it's hitting a little bit differently because everything we talked about over these last 2 years, everything we've manifested for this young basketball team, it looks like is really coming into fruition. So far, we're 3 games into the season for the Detroit Pistons. They have a record of 2-1, and they could easily be 3-0, beating some pretty decent basketball teams. We've lost to the Miami Heat by literally 1 point. We beat the Charlotte Hornets, and our most recent win came against the Chicago Bulls, snapping a 15-game losing streak against that organization. But nonetheless, we're going to be talking about how the culture is really changing for the Detroit Pistons right in front of our very eyes. And I think there's a lot of things standing out about this team. And I know it's been through, and I know it's just been 3 games, but things look completely different right now. And I want to talk about how the team has changing as a whole. We're going to look at what guys are doing individually, but I think what's happening right now as a team and as a group is really special right now. Now, when it comes to our team success and how good the Detroit Pistons have been as a group, I think we have to tip our cap to and give a lot of credit to the addition of Coach Monty Williams. What he's done so far this season, helping the Detroit Pistons restore the culture and really change the energy that these young players are playing with on the defensive side of the ball. I think it has been truly special and truly vital for this Detroit Pistons team. And we could tell throughout training camp, this is something that was heavily emphasized, and whoever was performing on the defensive side of the ball during practice, during team scrimmages, is who Coach Monty Williams gave the most minutes to in his rotation. I don't think none of us seen Killian Hayes cracking the starting lineup, and he's been so terrific on the defensive side of the ball so far. And the same thing with Ausar Thompson. I'm not saying no one saw that coming, but it was definitely a toss-up if he was going to start or come off the bench for his young NBA career. And we've seen how great he's been so far for the Detroit Pistons, playing defense and rebounding the basketball. So defense, I feel like, was definitely emphasized during training camp, and through the first 3 games of the season, it is really showing in the evidence. We look at the defensive stats in the NBA. The Detroit Pistons rank top 7 in every statistical category except for steals. They come in at 7th in the league when it comes to total defensive rating. They come in at 4th in the league when it comes to opponent points allowed per game, and they come in at number 3 in the league when it comes to total block shots per game. So this team has been really stout and really elite on the defensive side of the ball so far this NBA season. And same thing on the offensive side of the ball too. I'm really liking what I'm seeing from the Detroit Pistons in the half-court offense. I don't think the offense has been as stagnant as we've seen over the last couple of years with Dwayne Casey coaching for the Detroit Pistons. And to be fair with him, it was a very weird 2 years when it came for the health of the Detroit Pistons. And when you have a guy like Cade Cunningham in and out of the lineup, it's definitely not going to be as easy to draw up some good plays for the guys that you have out there. But having Cade out there makes things a lot easier when it comes to having a better half-court offense. And what's crazy is right now the Detroit Pistons are ranked 13th in the league when it comes to offensive efficiency. And you look at our starting 5, it's not really an offensive group. A lot of defensive-minded guys out on the court: Jalen Duren, Ausar Stewart, Killian Hayes, Ausar Thompson, and even Cade Cunningham. But these guys are making it work on the offensive side of the ball. And of course, these guys coming off the bench have been doing a great job for the Detroit Pistons as well. But I just want to hit on that team success and how this team is looking really good as a group on the defensive side of the ball, and how great of a job Coach Monty Williams has done so far. And now that we talked about that, now we can get to the fun part and look at some of these individual performances so far in the season. And I want to start with the rookie Ausar Thompson. Now, we talked about how much of an impact Ausar Thompson was going to make for the Detroit Pistons without scoring the basketball, but I definitely did not see this coming. Ausar Thompson, and I mean this in the most positive way, but he's insane and he is a nut out there on the basketball court, especially on the defensive side of the ball. He is literally everywhere, and just to look at his performances so far, through 3 games, he has been playing outstanding basketball, and I don't think we could ask for anything more from our rookie. First game of the season, 7 rebounds. Second game of the season, 13 rebounds. Third game of the season, 12 rebounds. And what's so impressive about the way he's rebounding the basketball? First of all, he's doing it alongside a really good rebounding team. You look at the Detroit Pistons, they have a really big starting 5. Killian Hayes is the smallest guy on the court, and he's around 6'5", 6'7". He can rebound the basketball. Cade Cunningham can rebound the basketball. Ausar Stewart can rebound the basketball. And we see the grown man that Jalen Duren is going up to grab rebounds. So for him to be putting up these type of rebounding numbers, and we can't tell if this is sustainable yet because it's only through 3 games, but he has been insane. And then just the role that he's already taken on as a young player in this league, guarding the opposing team's best player each and every night. He did a great job on Jimmy Butler and Tyler Hero in that first game. Did a great job on disrupting LaMelo Ball and that Hornets offense. And then when he faced the Chicago Bulls, he took on Zach LaVine, and he didn't even take on Zach LaVine for that entire night. We threw different bodies at him. We even tried going into his own for a couple of possessions, but Zach LaVine, he just had it going that night. He drops 49 points, but the Chicago Bulls as a team only had 102 points, and we're living with that all day long. And I think we should be more than satisfied with a team scoring 102 points in today's NBA. But nonetheless, he is a stud as a defender and as a rebounder, and he is still super duper young. And then also offensively, we talked about this all off season long, how he's going to be a very underrated playmaker in the NBA. Not something that was really talked about with Ausar Thompson. It was always his athleticism, but so far throughout the regular season, he's just been making some great passes, and you could tell he processes the game really well, and he's just a great passer in transition, and he's also a great passer as a cutter in the half-court offense. There was this one play against the Chicago Bulls. He was cutting, made a really nice dime to Ausar Stewart, and it was just a really good-looking play. So Ausar Thompson, through the first 3 games of the season, he has been legendary so far, rebounding the basketball and playing defense. And then he also made NBA history his first game, getting those 5 blocks. That was the 3rd most for a rookie in his debut. So Ausar Thompson, I'm loving what I'm seeing from him. And another guy that's just had a great individual impact so far this season that I didn't see coming is Ausar Stewart. Now, we talk about Ausar Stewart on the channel all the time, and how much I personally love him, because I feel like he's a guy that you need on every quote-unquote good basketball team. If you want to be a good basketball team in the league, you need a guy like Ausar Stewart that's a great team guy, and he's going to go out and die for his guys. He's going to put it all out on the line for his teammates. But the steps and the strides that he's taken this season so far, he's looked really good. In his first 3 games, he has notched double figures in all 3 games. He's had 14 points twice, and then 15 points in 1 game. And then also he's been able to rebound the basketball really well. 14 boards against the Miami Heat, 7 boards against the Charlotte Hornets, and 9 boards against the Chicago Bulls. So that output alone is really good for the Detroit Pistons. Getting around 10, 12, 13, 14 points from Ausar Stewart is big time. And then just the impact he makes on the offensive side of the ball. So far, he's been able to knock down his wide open 3-point shots, and I think that's something that he's really comfortable with now because he's pending on the floor, taking sidestep, pump fake dribbles to get to an open three, and he's knocking these shots down. So that's a great sign. And then also, this is really great because the Detroit Pistons, they get to play two bigs, but Ausar Stewart being mobile on the defensive side of the ball and being able to knock down a wide open 3-point shot really puts the Detroit Pistons at a big advantage in today's NBA because the NBA is going so small, but when you have a hybrid big that can guard guys out on the perimeter and knock down 3-point shots, and you can play him next to a guy like Jalen Duren, it's going to make a huge impact on both the defensive and the offensive side of the ball. Right now, the Detroit Pistons rank number 2 in the NBA at 54 rebounds per game, and then offensively, we've seen Beef Stooges take advantage of posting little guys up and getting to his little jump hook. So I'm really loving what I'm seeing from Ausar Stewart so far this season. And now we're going to talk about his front court partner, Jalen Duren. Now, after last season, watching the Detroit Pistons, we already knew what it was when it came to Jalen Duren. He finished the season really strong, carried that over into the summer league, into the preseason, and now into the 2023-2024 regular season. He has been a monster so far this year, and what's scary is that he's only 19 years of age, but he looks like a very, very grown man out there. And I be thinking about it, man. Some of these guys in the NBA, as I get older, they be younger than me. I'm only 22, and Jalen Duren is 19, but he looks like he's about 27, 28 years old. But nonetheless, so far he's been spectacular this season. Double-double in every game, at least 2 blocks in every game, and then in his latest game against the Chicago Bulls, he goes out, gets 23 points and 15 rebounds, and he gets these 23 points without having a single play drawn up for him, just being in the right spot at the right time and having his hands ready whenever his guards are looking to get him the ball for an easy finish. So I'm loving what I'm seeing from Jalen Duren, and I think his potential as a defender in the NBA is so high because he's a big. He's 6'11", he's around 250 pounds, is all muscle, and he's fast, and he can jump out of the gym. So I think teams have really been struggling with this Detroit Pistons team because there's nobody you really can go at on the defensive side of the ball individually. And we know in today's NBA, it's a lot of mismatch hunting, and the number one target is usually the center. And now with the Detroit Pistons, you have a guy with Jalen Duren who can really guard out on the perimeter, and he's an elite rim protector. It makes it really hard for teams to figure out who they want to go and target, especially when the other guys have the defensive mindsets. And the Detroit Pistons, they have a really big starting 5 lineup, so it's not really too many guys you can try to pick out and find to dominate in the post. So I'm loving what I'm seeing from Jalen Duren, Ausar Stewart. Ausar Thompson has looked great individually, and now we have to talk about the money man on this team, the best player on this team, the future, Cade Cunningham. I feel like Cade Cunningham really came out and did a great job of setting the tone in the season opener for what kind of season it would look like individually for him against the Miami Heat, one of the best defensive coaches in the NBA, one of the best defensive teams in the NBA, and also they have 2 of the best individual defenders in the NBA, Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo. But Cade Cunningham goes on the road. He's able to get 30 points, 3 rebounds, and 9 assists. And then we go to Charlotte, and just a frustrating night for him. He got into foul trouble, only played 24 minutes, and he notched 12 points and 5 assists for that game, and he bounces back in the home opener against the Chicago Bulls. He gets 25 points and he finishes with 10 assists. So Cade Cunningham has looked great this season. We know he's 230 pounds now and added a lot more muscle to his body, and we see him getting a lot more calls around the rim and a lot more and ones. And there's not too much I can say about Cade Cunningham because you guys hear me talk about just how fascinating and how beautiful his game game is in every video, but really just controlling the tempo and the pace of the game. And I say this all the time, it's really like LeBron James and Luka Doncic. He wants things to go as he lets things go as he wants them to. If he wants to push the pace, if he wants to dominate you in the half court, he's been able to do that so far for the Detroit Pistons. So Cade Cunningham, huge fan. I think him and Jalen Duren, if we're winning games and their numbers are looking the way they're looking right now, we could have two guys at All-Star Weekend this season. But I don't want to put that out in the air 3 games into the season, even though I already did. But nonetheless, man, I'm really liking what I'm seeing from this team. Probably won't get to the bench today, but the bench has been looking really good today. Just want to talk to you guys about how the defense is looking and how these guys are putting out some special individual performances. But that's going to be it for today's video. If you guys enjoyed, please leave a like, comment down below how you're feeling about the Detroit Pistons so far this season, and then subscribe for more weekly content. We do this all the time, man, and that's curtains.